case basis. That is the language that we're looking at very closely. Now, the 2010 census is just a few months away. The outcome determines how many House seats a state will get. Is it fair then to include those who might be in the country illegally in the census total? We are joined by one senator who thinks that perhaps we should not count those who are in this country illegally. He is Senator Bob Bennett of the great state of Utah. Senator Bennett, good to have you. How are you?
I'm well.
Well, now, you are sort of invoking the ire of some groups who believe that the census ought to count all people in this country, whether they are legal or not. Why do you feel that illegal citizens should not be counted?
Well, you have it wrong. I do not feel that illegal citizens should not be counted. I feel that they should be counted, and the only thing I'm asking for is that they be identified, numbered. Now, when I say identified, I do not mean for any kind of law enforcement activity, simply for a statistical count of how many illegals there are in the country. We're filled with estimates of how many there are, and those estimates may or may not be right, but if we're doing the census, let's find out who they are.
Well, let me then ask you the follow-up question.
Again, find out how many there are.
Then the follow-up question, and should then those that we identify as being illegal citizens, should they then be included in the count when it comes to apportionment? That is, how many House seats each state gets.
Now you've gotten to the nub of it, and the reason I make the point of this is that one of the things I'm being accused of is trying to change the allocation of federal funds in such a way that it would disadvantage a state that has a large number of illegal aliens, and I do not want to do that. That's not in my bill. It's strictly tied to the question of apportionment. The question of apportionment is, what kind of representation should a state have in the House of Representatives? Should it be based on every head that happens to be counted in that state, or should it be based on the legal residents of that state? And that is a decision which, under the Constitution, is clearly in the hands of the Congress. And I think the Congress should decide representation in the House should be based upon legal residents.
So I want to make sure that we are clear, and I appreciate you clarifying your position. You're not against the idea that everyone be counted. You're simply saying that when it comes to the issue of apportionment, that is deciding how many congressional seats each state gets, you think perhaps we should not count those who are in this country illegally for that purpose and that purpose only.
That you've got it right now, and the impact, again, we don't know because we don't have absolute firm information. California could have anywhere from 5 to 9 additional seats in the House of Representatives based entirely on the illegals who are physically living in California, and it would disadvantage other states who, if the apportionment were made entirely on the basis of legal residents, would get those seats. Utah is not one of those. This is not a parochial issue for me.
All right. And how much support do you have for this in the United States Senate?
It's very interesting. I get a lot of kickback of people saying, oh, this is terrible. And I say, fine, let's bring it up, vote on it, and if it's that terrible, vote it down. They don't want to vote on it. They're going to procedural reasons to keep it from coming to a vote. And they keep saying, well, this is terrible, we won't let it come to vote. I say, if it is that terrible, vote it down. But go on record as to where you are on this issue of the apportionment of seats in the House of Representatives. And there are a number of folks who don't want to do that, and therefore, I don't expect my bill ever to come to a vote.
All right. Well, Senator Bennett, thank you very much for being with us to talk about this. I think, you know, the census always gets very political, and clearly there are a lot of issues that we'll be discussing as we approach the beginning of the census count. Thanks, Senator.
You bet.
All right.